What is going on, YouTube? This is DBZ439 coming at you with a very interesting deck profile, and that is UB Control. Fortunately, I went to this past regionals at Dallas Fort Worth and got 14th place out of almost 350 people. I think that's an impressive feat. Out of 9 rounds, I went 7-2. So I'm pretty comfortable with the deck. Also, I took it to my locals a couple weeks ago and I got first place with it. And so with plenty of testing, I really do feel that this is the best variant for this build. It's very budget friendly, except for a couple cards which you could easily replace it with. Very easy to play, and I really believe that it's one of the best control decks right now. The ability that I could go first to second is what makes it really powerful. And I just want to quickly go over my 9 rounds real fast. So in the first round, I played against Noble Knights. I 2-0'd them. Second round, I played against Exosister. It went 2-1. All I'm going to say about that match was that Mystic Mind's best card. In the third round, unfortunately, I lost to a Despia player. It was game 3. I went first, and I bricked. I opened like 2 Fish Sonars and 3 traps that didn't really offer much. So he was able to OTK through that board. Then round 4, I played against Adventure Punk. Round 5, I played against Spright Frog. This was probably the funniest matchup in all my rounds. It went 2-1, and game 3, essentially, like, he cleared my board, and like it was a kind of a simplified game state, but he had cards, but he got me to 300 life points, and then he summoned Ronin Toad to try to swing for me for game. He tried to normal summon Dimensional Shifter. I had a Solemn Judgment face down after like top decking 5-6 cards with having no cards. He Lightning Stormed my back row, and it got to the point where I got Jellyfish. I normal summoned it. Or I had a Fortress Whale in my hand, and then I couldn't do anything. I passed turn, and he couldn't draw a monster to save his life to run over me when I only had 200 life points. And so I drew into a Mega Fortress Whale, normal summoned Jellyfish, used the Jellyfish effect to summon the whale, attack. And then with only 200 life points left, he went ahead and finally drew into a combo piece and made a gigantic Spright. And it had 1300 attack. He tried to attack my Jellyfish for game, but then I used Fortress Whale to pop. And then I just ran over him for game next turn. It was pretty funny, but next round we played against Swordsoul. I 2-0'd him. Let's just say that Legendary Ocean put it work because it modulates the token. And I'll go more in depth in details of like how the reasonings why I feel like this deck is very powerful in this format. But the Legendary Ocean modulated his levels for his token, so he was able to Synchro Summon. Then round 7 played against Heroes. Essentially just broke his board. Sat on Floodgates, used cards like, Evenly Match and Dark Ruler and stuff to break it. It's a fairly easy matchup. And unfortunately, he kind of bricked too, so the round 8, I played against the undefeated guy, Spright Frog, and it went to game 3. Unfortunately, I bricked. The deck can be a little bricky at times, you do need Legendary Ocean to, function. But I thought of, a neat combo, or not a combo, but a neat, a new way to play the deck in that round, so I'll go into that and when I get there. And then finally I played Flunder, probably my easiest round, round 9. I 2-0'd him. It was super fast. I think Flunder is this deck counters Flunder super hard. So yeah, as you can see, I played against a wide assortment of decks. Unfortunately, I didn't play Tier Elements. I wanted to see how my deck fared against it, but I played against some really good meta decks and players, and did well. And so without any further ado, I know that was quite a bit of introduction, but we'll go right into it, starting with the main deck. Obviously, we play a boss monster, Kairyu-Shin Ocean Lord. So I'm going to literally read his first line. It says that while Yumi is on the field, each player can only control one face-up non-water monster at a time. If they control 2 or more, they must send to the graveyard until they control 1. So the thing is that this card is really good for going first and for going second, because if you set up your Yumi and you just normal summon this, unless if they have a Solemn Warning, it is a game mechanic that they are forced to send cards to the graveyard until they control 1. And then, let's say they control Earth Monster. Unless they use that Earth Monster to link it away to go into a water or something like that, they're not able to. So it's actually more powerful than there can only be one. is the best way to explain it. And then like every turn during my main phase, I can add a spell or trap Yuumi or Kairyu-Shin spell or trap card, or a Sea Stealth spell or trap card. So it can continually give you advantage. And having that floodgate, at all times is really good. So obviously he's a level 5, so you need like Legendary Ocean to like make him a level 4, or you use Jellyfish, which is the next card, which he has 2 effects. One, I can send a Yuumi from my hand or deck or face up to the graveyard and special summon a water from my hand. So that's another way to bring out your Ocean Lord. And his second effect is really awesome. When you have a Yuumi on the field quick effect, I can negate an effect of a monster or a spell card and negate the effect, and then this card gains 600 attack defense permanently. So this card can get really juicy, and like it can negate stuff, from anywhere. So it's really powerful. And yeah, for the last of the monsters, we play Mega Fortress Whale and Doom Kraken. So let me explain these cards, starting with the Doom Kraken. Essentially, if Yuumi is on the field, quick effect, I can target a water monster I control, except Doom Kraken, one monster your opponent controls, special summon this card from your hand. If you do, return that monster you control to the hand, and if you do, destroy that opponent's monster. And then when your opponent's monster declares an attack, you can return this card to the hand, and if you do, negate the attack. I can only use this effect once per turn. So let's talk about this card for a sec, because this card is actually insane. So what it does is it can help swing for a game in essence. Like if I have 3 monsters on field, let's say Whale, Jellyfish, and like Kairyu-Shin, and I can tag out and attack for a game by attacking directly using his effect, and we'll get to him in a sec. I can dodge like hand traps or like cards like that can target, and like cards like Imperm, cards like the Swordsoul Synchro monster that targets to negate, and like help resolve your plays. And then on top of that, you destroy the monster. And then the really funny effect is like when your opponent's monster declares attack, you can bounce to negate it. So the reason why that's important is because if they're locked into one monster under the Ocean Lock, and they're trying to like get rid of the monster, so by doing so they'll like try to crash, you'll use his effect to bounce to negate the attack, so you force them to have that monster on their side of the field. So they're locked and they can't do anything about it. And so you just keep rinsing or repeating using his effect, which I'll get to right now. If Yuumi's on the field, I can activate the effect and all my water monsters can attack directly this turn. So this helps attack to go for your game. So it's one of your win conditions in essence. And during my opponent's battle phase quick effect, the effect that won me my round 5, I can target one face-up monster my opponent controls and destroy it. And his last effect is irrelevant for this deck because I don't run any warrior monsters. So you get out this card a few ways by using Electric Jellyfish or using Dark Reef, which we'll get into momentarily. So next we play triple Legendary Ocean. So obviously you need like a Yuumi on your side of the field at all times to have your monsters trigger their effects. But the reason why this card's insane actually is because it reduces all the water monsters of both players' hands and field by 1. So the reason why that's funny is because when you go against a matchup like Swordsoul, you modulate their tokens because all the tokens they summon are water, so they're not able to synchro summon. And then when you go against Spright, whenever they try to overlay for Frog, they can't because they're all level 1 frogs. And if they try to link into or XYZ summon into Gigantic Spright with the water monsters, they can't. So it needs interactions and situations like the level modulations could come up. So yeah, I think that's pretty funny. Next we play triple Sea Stealth 2. So this card has 3 effects. The first effect being that while this card's face up on the field, it acts as a Yuumi, and then your opponent can't target your water monsters with non-water effects. So like if they try to hand trap you with Effect Veiler, or like that situation with the Secret Swordsoul monsters to negate your monster, they can't even do that under Sea Stealth 2. So that's pretty good. And then during the battle phase, I can special summon a water monster from a hand or graveyard in defense mode, but at the end phase, destroy it. But there's a way to play around that. And next we play triple Fish Sonar. But going back to this card real quick, the reason why we max out on this and the Legendary Ocean is because we want to have Yuumi on field at all times. And there's ways to recur and send it off, using Dark Reef and Sea Stealth attacks. So yeah, consistency, and most of my cards I play 3 of, so you'll see. Next, we play a triple Fish Sonar, essentially the roto of the deck, and then you can special summon a normal monster, but we don't play any normal monsters because we don't want to play any bricks. So next, we play triple Demise in the land, and you know what that means, what we play in tandem with. Double Mystic Mine. So Mystic Mine, obviously, you know, I'm not a fan of the card, but, you know, I never played it in my life, to be honest with you, but with this kind of deck, you really need to play it. So obviously, Demise the deck can get you into Mystic Mine if you're in a tight situation, or get you to your Legendary Ocean. But also, Mystic Mine helps you stall to like set up your board. I never once like decked out my opponent. Like I don't play like that. I only use it to until I get to my floodgates that can break my opponent's boards. And then when I'm comfortable, like I break my own Mystic Mine. Mystic Mine won me a lot of games today, you know, by stalling and stuff. And I think in a combo format, people are not too, you know, fixated on their side decks or in their main decks to combat with control decks. So that's another reason why I thought this deck was actually a really good choice. So yeah, moving forward, for consistency, we play Pot of Prosperity. So I did say that this deck is a budget deck aside from these cards, but these cards actually did win me a lot of games. You know, being able to dig for whatever I need, and, you know, you don't even care about your extra deck, and, you know, the half attack, modulation, whatever, like, it doesn't matter. So, like, all we want is get the cards that we need, and then set up our board and let our opponents not play, or, you know, dig into our side deck, or floodgates or whatnot, Ocean Lord, to, like, break our opponent's board. So I think Pot of Prosperity is good. You can easily play it with 3 extra, but the next power draw card we play is just 1 extra. Originally, I was playing 3 duality, but testing, I felt that, you know, it does conflict with Jellyfish and stuff, and like, Extrav is like really powerful because you can draw 2. You know, I never went to Max deck once this tournament, so and I wanted to make room for other cards. So like it does, like, let's get something straight. Like Prosperity and Extrav conflict, but you know, with this ratio, like the chances of that happening were very low, so you take those chances. And another reason why Prosperity is good is because, like, you can, like, normal summon your Jellyfish and then Legendary Ocean and activate, like, you know, any spell card or whatever underneath it. If they try to Ash, like, you can negate it. Whereas, like, Pot of Extravagance is very negatable. So that's why we only play 1 of it. And then for some power spells, we play the 1 call by and the Terraforming to search whatever we need. Next for the traps, we do play triple Sea Stealth Attack. This card's insane. So basically, when you flip it, you can activate a legendary or Yumi from your graveyard or from your hand, or Sea Stealth Attack, actually. Sea Stealth 2. You can bring it back from the graveyard. So that's actually really important. And it has a couple other effects where once per turn, I can banish a water monster until the end phase, and then for the rest of the turn, face-up spell, trap cards I control cannot be destroyed by postcard effects, even if this card leaves the field. So cards like Twin Twister, Lightning Storm, things when they try to like break your floodgates or whatever, this can dodge, or you can tribute or banish a water monster and then effectively nullify those effects. Also, some people are trying to droplet me, and the thing with droplets is that you the amount of cards you send, you have to choose that many monsters. But since they never send a trap card, you use this to banish one of your monsters, and then the droplet fizzles. So in essence, they lose all that resource for no reason. So this card can help you protect your stuff, dodge stuff. You know, if they try to hand trap you with, like, you know, Veiler, Ghost Ogre, like people are trying to Ghost Ogre me on my Ocean Lord. When I try to search, I just dodge it, and it brings it back. So it's really cool. And then at the start of the damage step, if a water monster whose original level is 5 or higher, so basically the Kairyu-Shin Ocean Lord, it will automatically destroy that opponent's monster. So if they're trying to, like, get rid of my monster by battle or something, you know, this card essentially, you know, destroys it for me. So it's really good for getting over big problematic monsters. So that's really good. Next, we play triple Dark Reef. Now, this card's insane. Basically, send a Yumi I control to the graveyard to special summon up to 2 water monsters with different names from my hand or deck that mention Yumi on it. And I'm not even going to read the last effect because it has to do with, like, normal monsters, in which I don't run. You can run normal monsters, but I just did not want to run the brick. And I just wanted to control and establish, you know, control over the game, and I didn't. My focus was not to go into my extra deck or to OTK my opponent and stuff. Like, slow and steady wins the race kind of thing. And so that's the concept of not running any normal monsters. So this card, essentially, brings out whatever you need. And like when you Mystic Mine your opponent, like this is one of the cards you want to see. And like use like Sea Stealth 2, send it, and then use your Sea Stealth attack to bring it back and break the board, and then slap over Legendary Ocean over your Mystic Mine and stuff. So, or then you flip your Floodgates, which I'm about to show next, which is triple Gozen Match, doesn't hurt you at all. And I think Gozen Match is one of the more powerful Floodgates right now. And the fact that they can't even, like, unless if they have Gamma Seal, they can't even, like, Lava Golem you. In some cases, they can't Super Poly you. Like, if they control a monster, like, they won't be able to Super Poly unless if it's for, like, Mud Dragon. But that's, like, one of the few cards that, like, can, like, break my boards. But, like, Gozen Match also protects you from, like, people sacking you. And like, I just think like when you use Mystic Mine and then you flip a Gozen Match and send the board and then you simplify the game state, like it's just really overwhelming for your opponent to like get over your board, especially with like Ocean Lord, Gozen Match, and then the next card we play double. There can only be one. We don't play triple, so originally it was 3 dualities, but I cut the 3 for these 2 and the 1 copy Extrav, which put in absolute work. Like this card's actually really powerful right now. In a lot of matchups, and it doesn't hurt you. The only confliction it has is with the Kraken, so you want to be able to use the Kraken, but you don't care. Like, all you need is just the Whale, the Ocean Lord, and then the Jellyfish. They're all different types, supposedly, so that's pretty cool. And so, yeah, we just floodgate our opponents to death, and and then they just scoop, so, and then you can protect it with Sea Stealth attack, which is absolutely insane. So, a few cards that could kill you is, like, Cosmic Cyclone and stuff, but then we played the one Metaverse, to an extra Terraforming in essence to get your Mystic Mine or whatever. So yeah, that is it for the main deck. Now let's just go to the side deck real quickly. We play a triple Sphere mode. So let's talk about Sphere mode for a second. So, with this format, combo format, people like spewing out a bunch of monsters, especially Spright and whatnot. I felt that this was a good choice, and I still do think it's a good choice. Like, I resolved it, quite a bit throughout the tournament, but I felt that some of the duels I lost because, like, I wasn't able to follow up. Because the idea was, like, okay, Sphere mode my opponent, Mystic Mine, and then, this card would return to me, and then they can't get over it kind of thing, so you just stall. And then, if I have a floodgate like a Gozen Match or something, then I can flip it so like on my opponent's next turn, so they won't be able to play. So that was the idea behind it. Other cards I considered for this was like Super Poly, but I felt like I didn't want to discard anything, or there wasn't anything that was too crazy that I wanted to summon off the extra deck that could help me. Especially combating with like Spright boards and stuff. So, but Super Poly is something that I definitely would consider in the future. Also, another card I'm really considering is Winter Cherries, because you have so much space in the extra deck. You can get rid of a problematic card and just not let them play in essence. So next, for the side deck, we do play Triple Cosmic Cyclone to get rid of problematic back row, Mystic Mine, whatever. I did expect a wide variety of matchups. I didn't. I know there's going to be a large representation of Spright and stuff, but if I did get paired up with like Control or something, Cosmic Cyclone was the move. Next, we play Triple Dark Ruler to stop those big boards, and then we play Triple Solemn Judgment. Whenever we go first, we want to put this in, for a counter side. You better believe people are going to be like trying to like evenly match you or whatever, and so Solemn Judgment. Is there to combat those cards, and then finally play a triple evenly match to break boards and stuff. So yeah, in essence, like my side deck didn't even come up that much. It was mainly like my main deck doing the work, like those floodgates, and that can only be on Gozen Match. Like they all put in a lot of work, and then for my action deck, which is completely useless. And like I said, like you can fill it up with like Super Poly targets and like Winter Cherry targets, but you can also, when you use Extrav and Pot of Prosperity, you need to like have targets. So real quickly, we play double Zeus, double Kraken, double Kragen spawn, you know, all useless cards. Downerd Magician, never went to any of these cards once, you know. Exciton Night Dweller, Break Sword, Fortune Tune. You can also play Baguska if you want, but I didn't because I didn't really care. And then we play 3 Link Water Monsters. So the only thing I'm going to explain in my extra deck are these 3, because if someone Mystic Minds you, you can actually break their Mystic Mind. So you link away your water monsters to make any of these, and then on their end phase, you would use your Sea Stealth attack to banish this. And the end phase, their priority, they would have to send their own Mystic Mind to the grave, and then you bring this back. Ideally, this needs to be a Coral Reef, but I didn't have it. The Bubble Reef, whatever her name is, because she actually does something. These cards actually don't really do much, but it's just in essence your Mystic Mind breakers. So yeah, guys. Thank you so much for watching. You know, if you have any questions and stuff like that, you know, feel free to ask your questions. I read all your comments. I try to help the Yu-Gi-Oh community as much as I can. I'm really glad, you know, I took a deck like this, a super rogue, super budget, and was able to clap, you know, in all honesty, like a tier 0 format. You know, it's just kind of crazy. Like, you know, I went to regionals for like the past 6-7 years now. You know, at Dallas Fort Worth, and I've topped every single time. And it's just, you know, the fruits of the labor. You know, showcasing my abilities to that. You know, deck building and stuff, and like winning. So, you know, consider liking the video, subscribing, sharing, whatever, commenting. Thank you so much for watching, and have a nice day.